Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. This is United Daily, and we are live, the place where you come every single day at 10:30 p.m. UK time for your latest Manchester United news, headlines, transfer rumours, and all that good stuff. And today we are looking at some updates on Jadon Sancho. Of course, this summer's transfer saga, it's still dragging on. And even after Manchester United got their first deal through the door with Donny van der Beek, we're still waiting for this Jadon Sancho deal, which has been mooted for so long. And we have got a few updates on that one coming out of Norway and some reliable sources in terms of Solskjaer's side of things. So we'll be having those updates on Jadon Sancho. We've also got new updates and new rumours and bits of gossip in relation to Chris Smalling and Sergio Reguilon as they continue to be linked with moves. Chris Smalling to Roma and of course Sergio Reguilon to Manchester United, amongst a whole host of other clubs. We're also looking at Mason Greenwood's England debut today. He came off the bench for England in their win against Iceland. We also saw Anthony Martial and Victor Lindelof in action, as well as they came head to head with France winning that game. So we'll be looking at all of that and any other headlines that have popped up today in relation to Manchester United, because there's always news to talk about Manchester United, and there might be a few things popping up while we're live. Who knows? This is when the newspapers like to get their headlines out for the following day and all that kind of thing. So we may get some news while we're live too. So make sure you're keeping it locked. You're liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. And if you're not watching live and you're one of those, there's thousands of you that watch the videos after we have been live, then thank you very much for joining in as well. Of course, you can get your comments in the comments box below and let us know what you're thinking about anything that we have discussed today. So we are going to be talking about Jadon Sancho, but before we get into that, let's head to an On This Day. And of course, we've got this On This Day book here. It's the 5th of September, and on Wednesday the 5th of September 1956, Liam Whelan scores the first in a run of 8 successive games in which he hits the target. The Republic of Ireland forward manages to help Man United beat Chelsea 2-1 at Stamford Bridge, with Tommy Taylor getting the other goal. He then nets in a 1-1 draw at Newcastle United before being on the mark in victories against Sheffield Wednesday, Manchester City, Arsenal, Charlton and Sunderland. Whelan ends his run as the Reds suffer a 5-2 defeat against Everton at Old Trafford. He finishes leading goal scorer for United in the league that season with 26 as the club secure the first division title. Tragically, Whelan would lose his life in the Munich air disaster. Obviously, one of those players that was lost in the Munich air disaster on the 6th of February 1958. But Liam Whelan scoring the first in a run of 8 successive games in which he hit that target. And I remember his name popping up when Ruud van Nistelrooy was on a similar run for Manchester United, and obviously went on to break it. But what a record from Liam Whelan, and he finished top goal scorer with 26 goals as United won the league title in 1956. What an absolute club legend, and rest in peace to that man. Anyway, we are moving on and coming to news from today, and we're looking at that Jadon Sancho news again. I've been trying to avoid it and trying to be looking at other headlines and other bits of news and all those kind of things, but today it is the biggest story, to be fair to you, and it is a message from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And according to Norwegian reports, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has spoken with Jadon Sancho several times already. We've heard how he's had discussions with Donny van der Beek before Donny van der Beek joined the club, and Solskjaer's had similar discussions with Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho wants to move to Manchester United. I'm not sure whether those discussions played a part in that, but Jadon Sancho wants to move to Manchester United and tops the club's wish list. Solskjaer has sent a simple message to Ed Woodward saying, fix this situation now, get the player through the door. It's been clear what Borussia Dortmund want for him. And I think earlier in the video, in the comments, Paul B was saying that 120 million euros United are getting done by Dortmund. I've got to disagree with that. Obviously, Paul's a regular. I absolutely love Paul. But I've got to disagree with that thing in terms of Jadon Sancho. I don't think we are getting done at all. When you look at the deal that's just been done for Kai Havertz at around 100 million euros. Jadon Sancho, you know, I think Lionel Messi was the only one that got more goals and assists than him last season. And when you look at his age, the goals and assists that he brings, how much more he will improve. He can be your right winger for the next 5-10 years. I think is worth that money. Obviously, it's a big chunk of our transfer fee. It'll be most of our transfer budget. But I think it's a player that's worth making our club record signing at £108 million, or whatever it is, 100 million plus 8 million add-ons, or whatever it turns out to be. I think United just have to make the deal happen now. We've seen that we've obviously been able to bring in Donny van der Beek. Beyond that, we need to bring in a defender, whether that's a left back, centre back, or both. But we seemingly can fund those moves for a left back or a centre back through sales at the club. We know that Chris Smalling's going to leave, Marcus Rojo, Phil Jones potentially going to leave. There's also the likes of Juan Mata being linked with a move to Galatasaray, Andres Pereira being linked with a move away from the club. There's a whole host of players that could potentially leave Manchester United. I mentioned Diogo Dalot, who's another one. So United could be bringing in funds elsewhere, and we know we could fund the moves for the defenders through that. Now it's about getting in our main target. Dortmund aren't budging on the price. We know that. So just pay it up. We've already agreed terms with Jadon Sancho in his camp. That's been reported for weeks and months now, that Manchester United have agreed a deal with Jadon Sancho, 250 grand a week, 5-year contract. That's been reported by reliable sources that are close to this deal. Now it's just a case of getting this transfer fee done. Now obviously he's on international duty at the moment. It'd be nice and ideal if United could get a fee sorted by the end of this week when he's supposed to head back from international duty. But we know United don't do things in an ideal world, and we saw last summer, although we got our targets and we got the people that we wanted to bring in Aaron Wan-Bissaka, in Harry Maguire, they did drag on for a little bit, the negotiations did, and we ended up paying what the clubs wanted in the end. And it looks like United are dragging their heels a little bit, but in the end we're probably going to cough up what it takes to bring Jaden Sancho through the door. And you do get that feeling, and it's just great to hear that he wants to join the club. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been speaking with him, because it's been important for Ole to know that players want to come to Manchester United for the right reasons. There's been various signings that we maybe could have made or tried to make, but the willingness from the player to join the club hasn't quite been there. That's probably why you feel like this Thiago Alcantara deal might not happen. There's talk about a massive salary request and all these kind of things, and United are probably thinking, we don't want to end up in this situation with Alexis Sanchez. Alexis Sanchez has stolen headlines this week for his comments on his move to Man United. We don't want to end up in that situation again, signing players for the wrong reasons. And it's we have to bring in players who are keen to join the club, and not just for the paycheck. Now obviously Jadon Sancho is going to be very well paid at Manchester United, and it's going to be a lucrative deal, but it's one that we need to make happen. And he's clearly a player that is similar to Rashford, Martial, Bruno, in that he's a player that wants to win trophies, he wants to be a success, he wants to make a name for himself. And when you look at the profile of player United are bringing in, Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandez, Donny van der Beek coming in, Rashford, Martial, Greenwood, players that have the world at their feet and can go on to win the big trophies if they really put their minds to it together. And if we can get the squad to accompany those kind of players and get the defence in there, I know we've got Harry Maguire and Wan-Bissaka, I think are great long-term prospects for the club. Getting that left back spot sorted, getting that centre half spot sorted, and getting it firmed up in terms of who's going to play there, I think is important for Manchester United as well. And you're seeing Dean Henderson coming. He's a player that's challenging David De Gea. I want your spot. We need players like that throughout the squad and throughout the team. And Jadon Sancho is another one of those. So we need to make this signing happen, and it's good to hear Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is maybe briefing those close to him in Norway, and I imagine he's probably on holiday at the minute, or unless he's said, are we back in training or not? Can't remember, because a lot of players are on international duty, so I imagine we're back in training, but I'm sure he can brief journalists in other ways. And it does sound like a brief from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer demanding Ed Woodward fixes this situation and gets the deal over the line. And I'm sure Manchester United fans will be echoing that statement as well, in terms of Ed Woodward sorting this deal out. So let's wait and see what happens with that one, but it's dragging on still. Jadon Sancho was in action for England today, who won 1-0 in the end with a Raheem Sterling penalty. It wasn't a great England game at all to watch. The football wasn't great. I thought Jadon Sancho was bright in the first 20-30 minutes. After that, he fizzled out of the game. Mason Greenwood made his debut for England as a substitute in the second half, which was great to see. It's been an amazing first year in professional football, in first team football for him. Playing for Manchester United, scoring 17 goals in his debut season, and now making his England debut. It was great to see. Anthony Martial made his first appearance for France in 2 years. Came on, won a penalty. The penalty was missed by Griezmann. Victor Lindelof was the man that brought him down as Sweden lost 1-0 to an Mbappe goal against France. So a few of our players involved in action today, with Mason Greenwood making his debut as well. And of course Jadon Sancho too involved, as Ed Woodward is told to fix it by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Fingers crossed we can get this deal over the line at some point soon, because it is dragging on right now. Bruno Fernandez was also in action today and had a man of the match performance as Portugal ran out 4-1 winners today. Who did they play? Croatia. So that's a big win for them. Cristiano Ronaldo was in the stands as well, and Bruno Fernandez had a very good game for them, running the show and getting a man of the match performance for him. So well done to all our players that were involved today. Typical. Martial wins a penalty. Bruno isn't there to score it, and France go up and miss it. P Savage fell asleep watching England today. Yeah, it was one of those typical international games. I'm glad they've got this out of the way before the season starts. It's a weird kind of situation. We've seen pre-season friendlies going on today. Arsenal lost against Villa. Liverpool beat Blackpool, and we're losing 2-0. Like you're seeing typical crazy scorelines in pre-season friendlies, and you've got Nations League football at the same time. It's a really weird time, but it's been a really weird year, hasn't it? So I suppose we just have to deal with it. The league season starts a week today. United's league season starts 2 weeks today. Obviously, because we get that rest because of the Europa League semi-final that we were in, we obviously get that rest. So we'll have to wait another week for Manchester United to be involved, but 2 weeks from today that we'll hear that. We also heard via the Express and by Ian McGarry, who does the transfer podcast with Duncan Castles, that Solskjaer has expressed his frustration at the lack of activity in the transfer market during a meeting earlier this week. Is it a coincidence that report comes out at the same time that you hear these Norwegian reports coming out that Ole has demanded that Ed Woodward fix this situation with Jadon Sancho? I don't think it is. It sounds like a briefing, and probably from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now, Fabrizio Romano tweeted about Sergio Reguilon earlier, saying he has been offered to Manchester United. Now, this doesn't seem to be a new development, because he tweeted something similar yesterday, but everyone obviously reacted to this like it was a new development because it was a new tweet in response to some questions from fans, from Fabrizio Romano. But it seems like we're in a similar situation. Reguilon's been offered around. The deals come from Real Madrid. United may have made an offer or been in some kind of talks, but we're waiting for Real Madrid to make a decision on his future. Sergio Reguilon's the kind of player that Manchester United should be in the market for. We all know that. Especially, people may say our left back spot's sorted. I don't think it is. We need to get that down sorted. If you've got right back position, Wan-Bissaka, Brandon Williams as his cover, Ethan Laird can play left and right. You're probably going to sell Diogo Dalot. You could have Luke Shaw and Reguilon battling it out for the left back. Luke Shaw probably edges it ahead of him defensively, but attacking wise, Reguilon's edges it for me. And I think Luke Shaw, we need him to improve, or we need to improve on him. I'm not saying get rid, sell him or anything like that, but it'd be good to challenge him. And it's good to hear United could potentially be in the market for a left back. We're also supposedly in the market for a centre back, but one of our centre backs of 3 who could be on the move this summer, if you include Jones and Rojo, is Chris Smalling. Now, Sky Sport reported today that Chris Smalling is requesting a 4-year contract from AS Roma with only a 3-year offer so far. Negotiations will continue as Smalling is the club's principal objective. Now, United Report shared that Sky Sports report on Chris Smalling. So it seems like we're down to the contract negotiation stages of Chris Smalling's move to AS Roma. It seems like the fees kind of been sorted out. We've heard of 18 million euros plus add-ons, 20 million euros plus add-ons We've heard various things in terms of his fee, but now we're hearing that he's negotiating a contract, and that's Sky Sport in Italy. So a 4-year contract he wants. They're offering a 3-year deal. I expect those are kind of things that can be sorted out quite easily. Either they pay him more per week on a 3-year deal, or they pay him what they're offering him now on a 4-year deal. But I imagine that will be sorted out. David with the super chat says buyback clause still in the Reguilon offer. As far as I'm aware, United wouldn't want that. I think there'd be a sell-on percentage that they'd get, but I don't think United would give them a buyback clause. Maybe a first option if we were looking to sell. But United are too big of a club to be saying to teams, yeah, we'll buy your player for 20, 30 million and we'll give you the option to buy him back whenever you want. I don't think United should be looking to do that. Tahith Chong scored 2 goals today. 2 more goals for Werder Bremen as they won one of their pre-season friendlies 7-0. Don't know what that says about the opposition. But 7-0 win for Werder Bremen, and Tahith Chong grabbing 2. He scored 1 last week as well, I think, in his debut. So good to see him settling down and playing well on his loan move to Werder Bremen. Fingers crossed he can take that into the full season ahead. But Chris Smalling on the move to Roma. That one's edging closer now as we head into the latest negotiations. And we heard AS Roma's latest offer for Chris Smalling is very close to United's asking price of 20 million euros. I imagine there's a few add-ons in there as well. But it'd be good business if United can recoup about 18 million, 20 million pounds for him to add to the kitty, and maybe just use that towards getting Reguilon. Imagine if you bring in the Smalling deal, you've got rid of Alexis Sanchez, you get rid of Rojo and Jones, and that pays for Reguilon and Donny van der Beek you've got, and then you're just looking at Jadon Sancho and maybe a centre back if you're lucky. But I don't think United will be making 4 signings. I think we'll be making Sancho, and if we're lucky, a left back or a centre back, if we're lucky. But let's wait and see what happens. Still plenty of time to go. It'd be nice if we could get them in, all our signings in a week before the season starts at least, but we've got a week left to do that. Things can move very quickly, as we saw with Donny van der Beek. It went from offer potentially on to being accepted to him being withdrawn from the international team and all that stuff. And once the international football is put to the side, I imagine a few more deals will kick back into action quite quickly. It may even be a case that they're waiting for this international break to pass so these players can sort out their focus on their club careers rather than doing it in the middle of England games or in the middle of training when they're training for England games, because I'm sure they don't want to have those distractions announcing deals while, I don't know, Jaden Sancho's got a game to prepare for, which kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So let's wait and see what happens, but I imagine it could drag on. We've got until October the 5th. October the 5th for all this to go on. Remember, we're going to be covering every single step of the way. 10:30 PM UK time here on AdamMcKola TV. So make sure you're liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, keeping it locked and all that good stuff. Let's see what other good headlines are out there at this moment in time in relation to Manchester United. Make sure you get your questions in if you've got any, or if you've got any thoughts on any of the news that's around at the moment. Thiago Alcantara recently has been talking like he's never wanted to leave Bayern Munich, saying, well, actually, I've never said I want to leave. You lot are saying I want to leave. Now, I don't know whether he's just pissed off with the constant questions about his future. It could be that case, but Thiago's, is he going to stay at Bayern? I don't know, 30 million euros. Surely someone's going to make that happen. Surely. We got another super chat from Mummy Hacker. Thank you very much for the super chat and getting involved. Make sure you're hitting that like button, commenting, sharing and subscribing. What article is this? Let's see. United haven't learned. Man United leaving it late as they trail market movers Chelsea. Arteta is making Arsenal the real deal. Really? They signed Willian, who Chelsea didn't want, and gave him a ridiculous deal, and they had to furlough 55 staff, release 55 staff just to give him £200,000 a week. Who else did they sign? A defender from Lille that no one was talking about 2 months ago, but all of a sudden everybody wanted him. Who else? A loan deal that the player was already on loan at the club last year. Who else? Arsenal are going to finish outside the top 4 again. Nobody wants to hear what they're doing just because they won a charity shield. And Aubameyang signing a new deal. Like, come on, you've not signed Messi. Man United, by the end of the window, I think we'll be pleased with what we've done. I do think we'll be pleased with what we've done. It's just not ideal that it's dragging on for Jaden Sancho, because it's clear we want him, he wants to move, Dortmund want the money, and we're just fanning around, taking ages to do it. So, need to sort it out ASAP. What else is going on? De Gea sends Man United fans wild with Sergio Reguilon post. Yeah. Man United signing Van der Beek slammed as a panic buy by Paul Merson. It's funny the reaction by idiots in the media to us signing Van der Beek, when if City signed him or Liverpool signed him or Arsenal signed him, it would have been the best signing since fuck knows. What stories we got? Jaden Sancho welcomes transfer speculation. Yeah, they're getting bored now. They are getting bored. Anyway, guys, as you can see, there's not a lot out there today in relation to Manchester United news. But make sure you're keeping it locked, because we'll be back every single day at 10:30 PM UK time with the latest news. And if there is any breaking news, then we'll obviously be here to break that news on AdamMcKola TV. But for now, we're going to head up and get out of here. Make sure you're keeping it locked, you're liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Get all your thoughts in the comments below as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer tells Ed Woodward to fix up and get Jadon Sancho signed up as a Man United player ASAP. Will he get his wish? Who knows when. Hopefully before October the 5th. Hopefully sometime soon, so he can be in the team for the start of the season. But maybe we're asking too much. See you in a bit.